One, two, three. Welcome everybody to Mom and Dad Talks, where our favorite two people are Mom and Dad. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hey, how are you, Sonny boy?
Yes, we hope that Hansy's okay. Is Hansy all right, everybody?
She had some health problems.
Yes, we got help, man.
Okay, let's keep her in prayer right now and just hope that everything works out for Hansy. Um, so today, we're talking about something that, I mean, it's almost like, we're going back to the 60s.
50s too.
50s. And you guys lived through a lot of this mess. But here we are in 2024, March 21st. We have 6 officers from Mississippi Goon Squad that have been sentenced to prison for torturing 2 black men. It sounds so simple, but here you are, law enforcement, is sworn to serve and protect, especially innocent people who are law-abiding citizens. And reading this report here about them getting called and torturing these 2 black men, and according to the report, they were high-ranking people here. The assault involved beatings and repeated use of stun guns and assaults with a sex toy before one of the victims was shot in the mouth in a mock execution. The final member of the group, a 32-year-old former Richland police officer, was given a sentence about 10 years that afternoon. And so it's all wrong, and they got called for these guys sleeping with a white woman. And here we are in 2024. We've had a black president. And no contest. They pleaded guilty. They pleaded. There's no situation here where they say, no, we didn't do that. They went too far. It always goes too far. Mom, what are your thoughts on this?
My thought on this is the leadership that we are allowing that possibly could come into our country to be the leader of our country is planting a silent seed, I would say, to make it look like it's all right to be ugly and mean to those of different races. They're trying to keep minorities out of the, put up a wall to keep immigrants who are not, of the country, have citizenship of the country. And when you have thoughts, when you have happenings like that with border control, we could do something about it if we would. We could make it better if we would just set up a system for the borders. So I go to say that when we plant seeds of keeping these people out of our country and mistreating them, that makes people be mistreated in this country from folks that are that live in this country. That's the way I feel.
I was watching the History Channel, St. Patrick's Day, as a matter of fact. They were bringing in Ellis Island, and people from Ireland coming in who were basically Irish, and they welcomed them with open arms. They came over on steamships and they went to Ellis Island and they came in the country, no problem. Now we have a problem with people of color, Hispanics and South Americans, coming into the problem. Now, to me, that's racism. Because what's the difference between an Irishman and a Hispanic from Mexico? They're both minorities. And we have people coming in from Canada every day.
But are the Irishmen of fair skin color?
They have red hair. They're definitely,
they forget that Irish people were discriminated once upon a time.
Yes, they were.
They were discriminated. They were
just like Italians were discriminated.
Right, they were tagged as heavy drinkers, fighters, and Polish people were looked at as inferior one time. We all, well, you didn't go through it, but I remember when I was coming up, everybody told a Polak joke. And the common phrase was "dumb Polak."
Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's become a political issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's because of where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's basically by the color of our skin.
Well, I think, in my opinion, there's because we've got different layers, right? First of all, you have illegal immigrants, and then you have legal immigrants, right? And then you got to get the process of making sure people can get here legally, right?
Correct.
Because it is illegal to come in this country and do it. However, the question is, why are people coming in this country?
We want a better
And
life.
then, well, the whole point I'm saying is that there's a deeper layer. It's not that third world countries are poor, it's that third world countries are overexploited. And what happens a lot of times is you have super rich and super poor. That's why you know when you have people living on mere existence and say, well, you know, and let's get this right. There's a reason why people are coming to this country. We got amenities in this country that a lot of countries don't have. And you got to understand that's what's making people come in this country. We have amenities that people want to have here. That's what makes us the greatest country in the world. Now, the question is how do we help support countries to do the right thing by their citizens so we don't have this problem? Because think about it. They got plants over there. The real issue is, are they really paid fair wages like they would be a United States citizens, or they getting taken advantage of because, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's the real issue is if everybody in the world got compensated like an American got compensated for, I don't think we would have people come into our country like that because they can stay where they're at. They can be happy, have a regular home and house, you know what I'm saying? Build their economy up, whatever that case may be. But, you know, it doesn't, capitalism doesn't work that way. Capitalism is a supply and demand. It's hey, I build the supply, you demand. It's you know, and that's why we have problems now with China because it's supply and demand. Our country needs a supply of this from that country. And unfortunately, they got a lot of our factories. And now what does America do? You see what I'm saying?
Right, right. And you know, you said it perfectly clear. It's a matter of who owns the factory.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever owns the factory is going to make millions of dollars. Whoever works for them will make $2 an hour. And that's not fair. The wealthy do not want to share their money with the people that are working for them.
Right.
And it reminds me of a text in Ezekiel. I wish I could find it right now, where one of the things that says Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed for was the lack of compassion on the poor.
Mm-hmm.
And that resonates so well today, our lack of compassion on the poor. They're defenseless. They don't have anything. And when you don't have compassion on the poor, they're going to make their voices known in other ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, unfortunately, what you have here is you have a situation where I don't think this was the first time these officers did some horrendous stuff. We don't know the layers of it. We just don't know.
Right.
But they were called the Goon Squad, and they used excessive force when necessary, and they were allowed to do it. And they felt comfortable going over the edge this time, they say. Of course, I can only go for the article and stuff. And, you know, it's kind of like when you told me, Dad, not to climb over the fence.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you a little quick story, but what happened was my dad told me not to climb over the fence. And what happened was I climbed over the fence and got away with it once. What is my dad talking about? He don't know what he's talking about. And then I got away with it again. Then I got more bolder, and then I began to play with my friends. We played cops and robbers. Never forget the day the dog was going to be the cop, and we're going to be the robbers and go in there. And it's something funny about when you want to do something wrong, you want to bring everybody else in it. So my cousin followed me, Carlin. And I climbed over the fence like I normally do. Hey, I'm going to show you how to do it. And I jumped down, but this time things didn't work out in my favor. My cousin jumped down. He just got a little scrape on his arm. I jumped down. I have a hole in my arm. And then I understood why Dad told me not to jump over the fence. But what happened was I got emblazoned because I was able to get away with it before and got more bolder. And then I want to show off. And folk, when you do wrong, that's what happens when you get away with it. Hey, nothing happened to me. See, I'm good. But when it does,
Oh boy.
Those little things you let go now, they get bolder and bolder. And pretty soon you're off into the ditches. You're like, man, that's not me. No, that is you.
That's the case.
You
That's
conditioned yourself for it.
right.
So, any last thoughts before we close up?
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that is so true.
And we should show mercy,
Mm-hmm.
hatred.
Yeah.
That's not who we are as a people.
Yeah.
We are a very forgiving race.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at us as a Black race,
Mm-hmm.
we've gone through a lot of evil. We've gone through a lot of lynchings.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone through a lot of persecution. But
Discriminations.
But we still love you.
Mm-hmm.
We still love you. That's astounding. Because God is love, and if you believe in God, you have to love your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether your neighbor likes you or not, you
Mm-hmm.
still love him. You know, it's like when at 9:33 they're redoing the highway down there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my wife encourages me to go around it because the traffic is backed all the way up to the city line.
Mm-hmm.
But I go out to see who's going to be merciful to me.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to let me in?
Yeah.
True. I think 5 out of maybe 7 people won't let me in, but there's those 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
Wave me ahead. Go on in. Go ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that makes the difference.
Yeah. So
Because I know there's 5 people. Hey, I can't get in, so I'm not gonna let you in.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sitting in here in line. You are too.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Those 2 people make it all worthwhile.
Mm.
When they wave me, come on, get ahead of me.
so people today show mercy. Like I said, these cops probably got away with some stuff before. It looks like, hey, they're called the Goon Squad. You don't get a nickname for just doing something once. Excessive force was used because why? They could and get away and it gets out of hand. So today, just something simple. Control yourself. Put self-restraints on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Take the opposite road one time and just see what happens being a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we'll leave you today on Mom and Dad Talks. And just like I said, folks, just do what you're supposed to do. Till next time, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks.
And show love.